My name is Marcus, and this happened to me during a camping trip last fall. I've always liked camping alone, just me, a small tent, and a fire. That weekend, I drove out to a forest campground a few hours away. It was late in the season, so the place was almost empty. By the time I arrived, the sun was already going down. I picked a spot near the tree line, set up my tent, and started a fire. Everything felt normal at first. The woods were quiet. Too quiet, actually. No insects, no wind, just the sound of the fire cracking. Around midnight, I heard something strange, a soft humming. At first, I thought it was the wind moving through the trees, but after a few seconds, I realized it was a woman's voice. Someone was humming a tune. It was faint, but definitely close. I stood up and looked around the campsite with my flashlight. "Hello?" I called out. No answer. The humming stopped instantly. I figured maybe another camper had walked nearby, so I sat back down. A few minutes later, the humming started again. Same soft melody. But this time, it sounded closer, like it was coming from the trees behind my tent. I walked a few steps toward the forest and shined my flashlight between the trunks. Nothing. Just darkness. The humming stopped again. That uneasy feeling started building in my chest, so I decided to go to sleep and deal with it in the morning. I climbed into my tent and zipped it shut. A few minutes later, the humming started again. But this time it wasn't outside. It was right behind my tent. So close that I could hear the small breaths between the notes. I froze in my sleeping bag. The humming slowly moved, circling around the tent. Soft footsteps in the leaves. Then it stopped right beside my head. I held my breath and stared at the thin fabric of the tent wall. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then I saw it. A shadow slowly appeared on the tent. The shape of a woman. Long hair hanging down, her head tilted slightly, just standing there. The humming continued, soft and calm. I grabbed my flashlight and turned it on, pointing it at the wall. The shadow vanished instantly. I waited a few seconds, then slowly unzipped the tent and stepped outside. There was no one there. The campsite was empty. The trees were still. But the humming started again. This time, from inside my tent. I turned slowly and looked at the entrance behind me. The tent flap was still open. And inside, I could see the shape of someone sitting in my sleeping bag. Long hair hanging forward, gently rocking back and forth, still humming that same quiet tune. I ran. I left my tent, my backpack, everything, and ran through the dark trail until I reached the ranger station. When I told the ranger what happened and showed him the campsite on the map, his face went pale. "Years ago," he said, "a woman had been murdered in that exact clearing while camping alone. They never caught the person who did it, but ever since then, some campers say they hear humming in the woods at night. And sometimes, she's already inside the tent."